Good morning, everybody. It's Dana Markson from Rockstar Practice and Mind Soother Therapy Center. Thank you so much for joining us again for a Coping Skills Tool Belt Workshop series. Very pleased to have our guest with us today who actually reached out to me and said I would like to offer a workshop. So I don't know Jean very well. I'm very excited to get to know you today, Jean, and your offerings. So this is Jean Vitrano. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Jean Vitrano. Jean is a mindfulness facilitator and educator in New Jersey, very locally to here, and she has an array of offerings for us. And today, Jean will be guiding us in some meditation practice and some gratitude and loving kindness, which I'm really excited about, two of my favorite things to work on. And I'm really excited for all of you to have this time and space with us today. So take it away, Jean.
Great. Okay, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and to give back to all of you who give so much. I have a number of therapists that come to my mindfulness groups. So yeah, it's an honor to be with all of you today. So as Dana shared, I'm going to lead you in some guided practices. And this is the type of work that I do in the groups I call A Mindful Life. They have been local groups here in Maplewood, New Jersey, but most recently they've all been online, and I've offered some more meditation groups online that anyone can drop into. So I want to start simply with an invitation. So it's really, Dana mentioned it already in ways, but an invitation.
I just want to remind you, I'm just going to pause you. It's Dana like banana.
Oh, Dana.
To remind you, and those of you, yes, that are listening, Dana like banana. Okay.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Okay. So yes, just extend the invitation to yourself. So can you give yourself permission to really let go of being in a caregiving role and let yourself for this hour receive right now? And I think it often helps to make it explicit to ourselves that, okay, I'm really giving myself this time. May I let myself have it? And you might even see right now what it's like to say that. You could even close your eyes and try it on. I'm giving myself this time, this space, just for me. May I really let myself have it? And you might see if a breath comes or some kind of a letting go, just by giving yourself permission. Just by giving yourself permission. So I know that mindfulness is a popular field and a very broad field. So I'm going to share just a little bit of my experience to give you some context. I started meditating about 25 years ago when I was in college. And really it has transformed how I am in this world, how I move through the world, how I am with myself. So along the way, I started a local meditation group that people could just drop into. But it wasn't long after that that I realized that there was more than meditation that I was utilizing in my life to help me bring more ease, more patience with myself, more joy, more compassion, and certainly more kindness, and especially self-kindness. So I wanted to create a place for people to come to practice all of these tools. And oftentimes we know there's nothing magical in what I'm offering today. It's more having this space that someone guides you and creates for you to really do the practices. Because we often know that, okay, well, meditation would help me be more present, or gratitude, really practicing gratefulness would help me to feel full. But those practices often get pushed aside because we're so busy, and so many of us are. We're just so busy in our lives. So the Mindful Life group was created so that you could really have that time and dedicate it to yourself. So in the groups, each week we practice meditation. So we always practice mindfulness meditation. And we'll start with that today. And then I bring in a gratitude practice, some kind of a specific practice on gratitude. And then self-kindness or loving kindness practices are often in there. I think relearning how to be kind to ourselves is such an important task for us to be happier and more peaceful. and more present with others. And some of you may know the work of focusing. So focusing was developed by psychologist Eugene Genlin. And I'm not certified in focusing, but I've done enough of it that I bring in each week a theme. So this week it was slowing down. And we kind of dive into it a bit. So we really go into the body, get a felt sense of what's around, whatever the theme is. It might be patience. In what ways am I needing more patience with myself? We did that a couple weeks ago. And really getting to know what's alive in us, what's there around it, and to be able to sit with it a bit. So all of the practices encourage you to really to listen to your whole self, to get a felt sense of what's going on in you, and to move out of thinking and analyzing into experiencing, into being, into sensing. So all I ask is that you be curious, move into that place of curiosity about yourself and about the processes, and be willing to just very gently, easily explore. So we're going to start with some meditation and mindfulness meditation. And I know there might be a wide range of experience on here with mindfulness or with meditation, but I'll give some of the basic instructions, and some of the things that get in the way, I'll touch on some of those as well. So there are a couple of things I like to point out to people right from the start, for people who are new to the practice. So oftentimes I'll hear people say, I'm just not good at meditating. My mind's too busy. I can't do it. So to that, I'd like to say that all of our minds are busy. It's just the nature of our minds. So no mind is too busy to meditate. And there's no such thing as not being good at it. There's really only just the practice of it. That's what we're working with, is our busy minds. The second thing is mindfulness meditation is not about not thinking. Oftentimes people think that, it's about stopping thinking. Well, we're the nature to think. We really can't stop thinking. But what we can do is choose where our minds go. So letting go of that notion that it's about stopping thinking, because that'll just be an obstacle. There's also this notion that meditation is supposed to bring us to a peaceful place. The problem with that is that then that's what we're looking for, is to get to a peaceful place. And that too then becomes an obstacle. So sometimes I'll go to meditate and I'll be in a perfectly fine mood. And I'm sitting there, and then suddenly I go to some conversation that happened last week. And I'll find myself either anxious, worried, angry, sad, whatever it might be, longing, right? And suddenly I see I'm not actually in a peaceful place. And that's okay, because the truth is that was there all along. It's just that I came into stillness and I came into silence and it came to the surface. And now I can actually tend to it with care. So don't worry about it if it doesn't bring you to a peaceful place. What mindfulness meditation is really about staying present. So this very moment, this moment that we're alive, this is the only moment we're alive. We're not alive in the future. We're not alive in the past. We're alive right now. So coming back to being right here. And what we have is our breathing, our inhale and our exhale are what is happening right here, right now. So that's the tool that we use to come back to being right here. Meditation is about not reacting to every thought, to every feeling, to every sensation that arises. It's learning to get that space to move into observing and sensing more, and not necessarily, I don't have to follow every thought that comes, right? Or I don't have to, let's say I feel a pain in my body. I don't have to make more of that pain. I can just experience it for what it is. Things like that. So really about just staying in this present moment, and we just keep returning. Our mind wanders and we keep returning. And in that way, we find more clarity. We also move more into compassion and less judgment. Lastly, I'll say that this often comes up, which is that it doesn't need to be perfectly quiet to meditate. So the sounds are just what's going on in the present moment. You don't need to react to them, right? The sounds can just float in and float out. And they come in and they fade away. Just that. The sounds in the room, the sounds wherever you are, outside, the sounds on my end. So it doesn't need to be perfectly quiet. We just can, again, it's another place where we can practice not reacting. And of course, if there's an emergency, you'll know it. But most of the time, there's not an emergency. And we can just hear what comes as another experience that we're having. So the basic practice is you start just by following your breath, sensing as you breathe in, sensing as you breathe out, and staying with the full length of the breath. So seeing if you can really follow, you feel the air touch your nostrils, comes in, you feel your belly and your rib cage get wider. You watch it turn and start to go out. You feel the belly and the rib cage come in a bit, and you feel the air out of your nostrils, just that. If you can practice breathing through your nose, of course, unless you're congested or sick or something, then you can, of course, open your mouth and use the breath that way. So you're just following the rhythm of the breath. You don't need to control it. You don't need to make it deeper or do anything with it. You're just following its rhythm. At some point, it might be in the first 30 seconds, the first 10 seconds, you'll notice that you're off in thought. And when you do, you simply note it and you come back. Let yourself begin again. It's the beauty of this practice. You just keep beginning again. As many times as you need. It doesn't matter how long you're off in thought. It's that moment that you realize that you've drifted away and you make the choice to come back. That's the critical moment. That's the gift right there. So the last thing I'll add is that if some thought or feeling really has your attention, or it keeps returning, let's say I'm thinking about something I need to do later in this week, and it just keeps coming back. You can take a moment to name it. This is here. Okay, I see I'm planning. Planning is here. And then sense, what is the feeling around the planning? What does it feel like in my body to be planning? What's the energy that's present? And then can you simply stay present to the energy? So you're breathing, go back to your breathing, and you're just feeling the energy of planning. This is what planning feels like. You let go of the thought. You no longer have to plan, but you're just being with the energy that's there, because that is what's there. So there's no denying it. There's no pushing it away or blocking it out. It's just staying present to the energy and breathing with it. So with all of that said, you can let those words settle. And we'll go ahead and you can close your eyes. I really encourage you to ignore the screen in front of you. You don't need to be seeing me. Let your eyes rest. And just trust in hearing my voice. In the guided meditation, I repeat things, so don't worry if you miss a word here and there. So as you close your eyes, feel the contact of your feet on the ground. Really sense the ground underneath you. Feel the contact of your pelvis on the chair or whatever surface you might be sitting on. Letting yourself really drop into your seat. Let the ground take your weight. Let it support you, almost as if it's coming up to take your weight, to hold you. And with that, you might see, is there anywhere in your body where you're holding some tension? Or maybe using more effort than you need to in this very moment? What can you consciously let go? Just by bringing your attention there and recognizing, oh, right now I don't need to hold my shoulders. I can let my shoulders drop down, they can rest. And allow your arms and your hands to rest. You might see what position feels good to have your hands, whether their palms down on your lap. That can tend to feel more grounding, solid. Or maybe palms up. That can be more open, receiving. Or you can simply overlap your fingers and touch the tips of your thumbs together very gently on your lap. That tends to have a more circular or whole feeling. See what feels right to you right now. But however it is, let your arms and your hands relax. Notice if you're gripping in your hips at all. Can you let go there? And finding an easy length through your spine. So from your tailbone all the way up between your ears, where your spine ends. An easy length, but not held, not stiff, present. And then go ahead and bring your attention specifically to your face. Many, many muscles in our face that we use. See what you can relax here. So let your jaw be easy. To do that, you might allow some space between your upper and lower teeth. It's okay if your lips part. And then softening all around your eyes. So the corners of your eyes. Between your eyes. Letting go of effort between your eyes and into your forehead. Your forehead can be wide open. Think of a blue, blue sky. And let yourself really move into that place of observing and sensing, moving away from thinking, trying to figure things out or plan or go over. And you may have already, but now specifically, turn your attention to your breathing, which simply means start to follow along with its rhythm. So sense as the breath comes in and sense as the breath goes out. Feeling the breath come in, feeling the breath go out. It doesn't matter how fast or slow or how deep or shallow it is in this moment. Whatever its rhythm, just follow it. It's almost like watching the water come onto the shore and it slides back out. Just that. And again, your mind will wander, and this is what you get to come back to, feeling the movement of the breath. And we're going to listen to the sound of the bell 3 times, and just follow your breathing and hear the sound arise, and just watch it fade. Just that, the simplicity of just that. And then we'll work with some phrases. And the phrases coordinate with your inhale and your exhale. It'll be clear as we go. The first phrase we'll work with is simply breathing in. I know I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know I am breathing out. Or just breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And staying with the simplicity of just that. Breathing in, breathing out. And let the words follow the breath rather than the other way around, so that you're not controlling your breathing, but simply as you start to sense yourself breathing in, say breathing in. And as you sense yourself breathing out, breathing out. And go ahead and feel the movement of the breath. Sense the rise and fall of your belly. Or of your chest. Wherever you sense it most, you can let your attention rest there and just feel the movement. Breathing in, breathing out. Letting yourself simply be, just being right here in this moment, breathing. Nothing more you need to do, nowhere you need to go. As you breathe in, inviting my breath to deepen. As you breathe out, inviting my breath to go slowly, or just deep, slow. Deep as you breathe in, slow as you breathe out. And the beauty of this one is that you don't need to make your breath get deeper or go slower. But if you truly follow the full length of it, watch the whole path, in and out, it tends to get deeper on its own. It tends to go slower on its own. Effortless breathing. deep, slow. And you might get a felt sense when you say the word deep with your breathing, when you say the word slow. What does it feel like? Deep, slow. Remembering that it's just an invitation. So if your breath doesn't feel deep or slow, it's okay. You can invite the breath to deepen and get more slowly. As you breathe in, being in the present moment. As you breathe out, staying in the present moment. Present moment, staying. Present moment, staying. Remembering that we can choose to stay right here in the present, hearing the sounds around us in the present moment, sensing ourselves in the present moment. What's it like to stay? If you notice restlessness arise, you can see, well, what's it like? What is restlessness like? What does it feel like? Can you make room for restlessness? And can you stay? And the last phrase, inviting ease in my body, I breathe in, inviting peace in my mind, I breathe out. Inviting ease, inviting peace. And what's it like to extend that invitation to yourself and to be open to being at peace, being open to being at ease? And when we pause, we get to see what we're holding and we can practice letting go. This pause in itself is an invitation for ease and for peace. Maybe before you open your eyes and let the light back in, just take a moment to see how you feel in this moment. See if anything in you has shifted in some way. Your sense of your breathing, sense of your body, the space around you. Just noting. And then you can very gently open your eyes and let light back in. You might try moving slowly. Move slowly as you shift in your chair, stretch. And I invite you, now that you've stayed with it, to continue to stay conscious of your inhale and your exhale as we continue with the practices this morning. So, if a meditation practice is something that you'd like to start, or you've always had the intention of starting, I recommend just starting with 5 minutes a day. Just set a timer, or there's a wonderful app called the Insight Timer that I like to use. It has a timer on it where you can set bells at the beginning or at the end, or intermittent bells, however many you want. And it's a nice way to set a parameter around it. And of course, there's thousands of guided meditations you can find on there. If you look up my name, you'll find some of my meditations there. I often find it helps to hear someone that you already know. But also, so you start with 5 minutes a day, and over time you can increase it. Maybe after a couple of weeks, you add on 2 minutes, and you work your way up to 20 or 30 minutes. And it doesn't matter what you're sitting on. People often ask, well, do I need to sit on the floor? Sit however you're comfortable. Not so comfortable that you fall asleep, but so that you can be present in yourself, but really but at ease. Also, simple, 2 minutes a day breaks. If you have 2 minutes between clients, to just close your eyes and really come back into your body and really just sense that inhale and the exhale, the whole body expanding and softening back in, and hearing the sounds of the present moment. Just that for 2 minutes, it can make such a profound difference in how we are in ourselves. And also just following the breathing as you're listening to clients as well is really for you, to be able to be present to yourself, to be kind to yourself. So if you have any questions on this part so far, what I suggest is to either write them down and then share them in the chat at the end, or if you don't have paper, go ahead and write them in the chat and I'll take a look at the end. But I want to continue on so that we have this kind of flow of experiences, and you can see how you feel at the end. So for this next one, you will need paper. And if you don't have paper, you can do it in your mind as well. That's okay. And you might choose that you prefer to just do it as a guided practice, either way. So a gratefulness practice, and this is a very basic one. And again, actually close your eyes for a moment and come back to your breathing, come back into your body. Feel yourself breathing in and breathing out. And just ask yourself, what over the past week did you experience that felt good? So let's just take from now to last Sunday, let's say. What did you experience that felt good, that in retrospect, when you take it in, you really feel grateful for having had the experience? And what I'd like you to do, I'm going to give you just a few minutes, is to write down what came. So write down what it was, just make a list. But the really important piece I find with this is that next to each piece that you write down, to ask yourself, and what did it bring me? Did it bring connection or purpose, relief? Did it bring space, ease, love, joy? Whatever it is, write down what it brought you, and take a moment to savor it again before you move on to the next. So go ahead, I'll give you a few minutes now. what in the past week felt good. And they don't need to be big moments. Could be connecting with someone in some deeper way, could be something beautiful you saw. Giving yourself this time to savor your experiences in this life. If you happen to finish before we come back together, you can just read them through again and see what it's like to take in this goodness. And so, what I find is that when we take time to really notice and take in the things that are good, we get to feel more full, full from this life just as it is, this life that's right here. And I find that it's so easy to just keep rolling through my experiences and to not pause and let them deepen by taking them in. And the problem with that is then there's always this sense that I'm not full, the sense that I'm longing, that somehow happiness is out there, that I need to get to it. But most of the time, it's just dropping back into seeing, oh, wow, what are the gifts that are right here? And there are so many every day. And I think we have all found that this pandemic that we have faced has been a great opportunity to see how many of the simple things that we often take for granted, uh, going to the store, as simple as that. And so we can let that experience of having that being taken away in its particular form to recognize that when we go back, we can remember. And again, it's a conscious choice to take in, take in what is good. I do this practice in all forms. I can do it just at the end of the day when I'm lying in bed, just to name 3 things in the day that were good and what it brought me, that feeling of what it gave me. Or sometimes I'll do it at the start of the day. I'll be in the shower and I'll think, okay, what's good in this day before me? And there's something really wonderful about that too. So looking ahead and saying, oh, this is here, and taking it in. So some practices for you to try. We're going to move on to loving kindness, self kindness practice, and this one will just be guided. So no writing is needed. So you can close your eyes again, dropping back into your body. Come back to your breathing, your consciousness, breathing in, breathing out. And you're going to ask yourself the question, what is alive in me today that could use my own compassion? What is alive in me today that could use self-compassion? And first, just let the question sit. Don't rush to answer it. And see what organically arises that feels true. Yes, some challenge, some difficulty, some pain could really use some compassion. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Just choose something. And once you name it, can you make room for what it feels like to hold the challenge, the difficulty, the pain? So no need to downplay it or compare it to others' suffering. But what does it really feel like in your body to recognize it and to be with it? So what does the difficulty feel like? Can you describe the sensation of whatever the suffering, again, no matter how big or small it is? What is the sensation? You might notice that you sense it in your body somewhere, this holding. Where is it located? Does it have a particular sensation, or an image might come? Does it feel tight? Maybe it feels empty. Some visual might come. Does it have a color or a texture or a shape? Let yourself lean into it a bit. Just breathe with it. So you don't have to fix it or push it away. You don't have to figure it out. But just breathe with what it feels like. Make room. It's just an experience you're having. And of course, it will change as all things change. But for right now, you might just say, yeah, this is here and it feels like this. And you breathe, letting it be there just like that. And this is such an important piece, is to let it have room, to not push it away. And as you give it room, can you recognize that this experience you're having is worthy of your compassion? So you might see yourself with the eyes of someone who really loves you dearly and doesn't want to see you suffer in any way. And I find it helps for me to get some space, as if I'm seeing myself from a distance, looking down at myself here in this time, doing the best I can. And I can drop more into compassion, not wanting to see myself or anyone suffer like that. You might even place your hand wherever it is you feel like you're holding, and feel the warmth of your own hand, the tenderness that you can have with yourself. And you might recognize that you're not alone in this, that many others are having the same experience or have experienced the same thing. And in that thought, can you let yourself feel connected to this shared human experience that we have? You're not alone. And can you breathe in compassion for yourself? And then breathe out compassion for all beings experiencing the same thing. Breathing in compassion for myself. Breathing out compassion for all beings who experience this. Just a moment of finding that gentleness, that tenderness that we can have with ourselves. And then we can extend out as well. Okay. And then again, in your own time, be very gentle as you let some movement and light back in. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat. So if you have any comments, observations, you might see how you feel right now. And if you have any questions. Here's the chat. Okay. Let's see. One new message. Okay. So we have calm and settled came in. And let's see. Rachel said, I love that. Each experience that felt good in the past week brought along a different describing word to me. Yes, beautiful. Let's see. Natalie wrote in, she feels grounded, very peaceful, from Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. Let's see. Amy wrote, I really got in touch with a pain I'm experiencing. I felt it in my heart. Yeah. Thank you for going there, giving yourself that opportunity. Slow to be verbal, relaxed. From Barbara. I think I missed them. Haven't felt this present in a while. Nice. Thank you, Andrew. I feel 100% different on many levels. I love your voice. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Thank you. I feel relaxed. I feel incredibly grounded and serene, rested.
Jean, it's Dana. I have a
Yeah,
question for you.
please.
So I'm feeling so much calmer and more centered. I don't feel that frenetic energy. I know as a therapist, I'm carrying the weight of the emotions of all my clients. Plus, I have employees and therapists that I'm also managing as well. What would you recommend? I think you said in the beginning, just even 5 minutes a day. So for everybody that's listening, maybe people that even haven't done a meditation practice before, what would be a way that they can set themselves up for success with this? Maybe a daily practice or a routine. Is there something that you can recommend?
Yes. So a couple of things come to mind. One is oftentimes the instruction is to choose a time of the day so that you do create routine habit, right? That you're just going to practice. Maybe it's right when you get up. Maybe it's after you have your tea or your coffee. Sometimes people like to practice before they go to bed, kind of help them get out of that busy space so that they can rest. I do find that for beginners, a guided meditation helps because it has something that's bringing you back. So listening to guided meditations, and there are all kinds of lengths. The one I sent to all of you is only 6 minutes, but there are some that are longer, and just work your way up to that. And also, if you're just going to sit with a timer, working with the phrase just breathing in, breathing out. That could be the only phrase you need, breathing in, breathing out. And what I found is that anywhere I am, when I was in the city, working in the city, I'd be going down the subway stairs and I would just say breathing in, breathing out. So I was, rushing to catch the train from Penn Station. So um, yeah, just those small moments. Anytime you come back to their breath, is that's it. That's it right there. It doesn't have to be big and formal, but having that time where you really dedicate yourself strengthens your ability then to, in moments in the day when someone says the thing that's hard, or your kid does something that's hard, that you find that pause. So we meditate so that we strengthen that ability to not react so quickly when something doesn't go our way. But it doesn't take a lot. It's just these small moments of keep returning, just return, return.
Right. I'm gonna hop back on and say hi.
Yeah. Hi.
I noticed something. I keep my eye on the participants just to see if I need to let anybody in, and not one person left from the
Oh,
time you started talking to now. So I think that's a testament to the way that you present, to your vibe. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just feeling your energy, and I'm really liking the way that you're calm and centered, and you have a very like elegant, poised vibe, but it's also very serene.
oh.
So I know you have a lot of offerings
Mm-hmm.
in your practice, either in person when we are not quarantining, and also I think you said online now. So I put Jean's website up here. I'll put it again now. It's jeanvitrano.com. So I encourage all of you to visit there. I know that you said you have a mindful life groups, and then you also have Sunday night meditation practice. And then I think you said Tuesday and Friday mornings as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Via Zoom.
Yeah, and the Tuesday and Friday is just from 10 to 10:30, so it's an easy half hour. Sunday is a longer practice and a bigger community, but you can just, the links are all on my website, just drop in. Everyone's welcome to that. And the Mindful Life groups, you can read what's there on my website. And I might create, if there's enough interest, to create a national group that'll stay on Zoom. It won't be obviously in person. I can do that going forward. So if
Yeah.
people reach out to me, I'll create one. And there's something beautiful about the same people coming together each week. That sense of safety gets created.
Yeah, and then like a collective consciousness, right? I like
Yeah,
the community as well. I
yeah.
just want to let you know we will be emailing all of you a link to the replay, and Jean so graciously shared with us a 6-minute meditation that we will be sending you as well. And I'm hoping that you download it and keep it saved to your phone so that it's always accessible to you.
Yeah, I also sent a tip card. So
Yeah,
just a basic practice. So you have the written instructions there. Feel free to also, if you want to print it out, you have it around you at your office or wherever you are. So you can just read it again and then do it.
that's
That might also.
beautiful.
Feel free to email me and write any, if you have any questions, you can find my email on my website, any questions about today's practices. And you can sign up for my list, my email list there, so you get updates. Yeah. Thank you
Well,
so much for having me. It's
thank you. I want to honor you
pleasure. Yeah,
and
thank you.
thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and honor all of you that keep showing up here with us every Friday, and have a blessed week.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.